My people's approach has been more of a, we take what we need, not any more, not any less, making sure that we're looking after the land so it can look after us. And that, I guess, point of difference and point of discussion is something that has been pervasive through any decision making at a community level is, well, how does this impact my kids? Rather than how does this impact my bottom line or my bonus or me. What I tell anyone that I've ever mentored is that all I want from you is to give to somebody else as to what I've given to you.
There are some key principles around our respect for country and our way of passing knowledge on through community, through sharing and through caring about each other, that we learn about our culture in a 21st century context, because there are ways that as traditional owners would tell you that they have had to engage with the management of land and engagement with protecting land. That again, land is just not seen as a resource, which is I guess an important distinction.
What is in the middle of all of that is a country-centric approach to the way that we do our work, and what that means is that it's about how you incorporate everything about country, respect and reciprocity, back to country and back to community.
The impact that agriculture has on climate change, and we need to change that to ensure we can revert back to increasing that biological process. And that's what Rainstick does. We use a low voltage electricity to stimulate the biological process. So we come as an alternative, or we can also enhance some of the chemical that are used to enable farmers to reduce their chemical use, reduce their footprint, and address that food security in feeding the planet.
Caretaking means to me is about respecting our history and not forgetting it, and making sure that it's embedded in the way that we do things. So I guess a big part of what we tried to do here in our local health district is understand the stories of our Aboriginal communities here in southwest Sydney, both traditional and contemporary.
I think that reciprocity, again, is about listening. It's about working in a genuinely open way, and it's about understanding that what the community want might not be what you had ever imagined, and being open to that is really important, and understanding that relationships are needed before you do, or as part of that development of a reciprocal arrangement. Reciprocity is about genuinely understanding how a community may want to engage with a particular project or a policy or a process on their terms. Again, it goes to self-determination and lived experience of practicing that self-determination.
Over the last decade or so, we've invested a lot of time in building formal relationships that are, I guess, reciprocal and not approached from that sort of unequal power dynamic that often happens when mainstream organisations try and partner with Aboriginal organisations. Especially a big thing like a local health district. Like our organisation's huge, it's however many $1 billion it's worth, and it employs something like 15,000 people.
People want this to work because the origin story is just a really big gate opener for us to have this conversation. So that's hugely important that we acknowledge and also give back to ensure that protecting that Maraweli knowledge.
We work from a place of cultural respect. We work from a place of reciprocity. So if you are going to take or ask of others, then what is it that you will give in return? It must always be about relationships and building off each other and learning from each other.